So yes, the Android show has concluded and it's fast becoming our new favourite event on Google's calendar. This year it was bigger and better than ever with some absolutely huge announcements and I'm excited here. So let's get into everything you need to know about the Android show 2026. Before we do get into the weeds on this one though, do me a quick favour and hit that subscribe button. It really helps the community grow and keeps you in the loop with all things Android, the Google commentary and everything else in between. Cheers. So let's talk about this vision. Google is essentially trying to redefine what your phone potentially is. They want to move away from that traditional reactive software paradigm where you have to do all the heavy lifting yourself, and they're trying to bake this into Android, the platform. You'll see this most clearly with the evolution of Material 3 Expressive. We're getting into these intentional animations and a kind of a visual energy that tells you when Gemini is thinking or listening. It's designed to be helpful without being a massive distraction, which I think is a nice touch given how cluttered some of these AI interfaces can get on your phone. And at the heart of this is the headline edition, and that is Gemini Intelligence. We're talking about a level of task automation that I think we haven't really seen before on a mobile device. One of the biggest upgrades to Gemini is the ability to navigate multi-step tasks across different third-party applications on your phone. And think about how many times you've had to do things like jump between Gmail, your calendar, or a shopping application just to get one particular thing done. Well, with Gemini Intelligence, you will be able to find something on the shopping list, on an email, or automatically add all of the ingredients from that you need to a shopping cart in a third-party application of your choice. Or potentially, if you're looking for a specific workout class, maybe even last-minute tickets to a gig, it can dive into applications like DoorDash or rideshare platforms like Uber to handle all of that booking for you and get you to the destination or get the food that you want delivered directly to you. What makes it even more impressive is the multimodality, as Gemini is able to understand what's on your screen in an image more directly. So you could snap a photo of a travel brochure when you're out and about and then tell Gemini to find a similar tour on websites like Expedia for your family group, and it'll go off into the background, search the web, check ratings and find availability for the weeks that you want while you're watching the progress via a live notification. That's a huge leap from the simple editing and proofreading tools we've all seen in the past. And they're even fixing those annoying little things like filling out forms. Intelligent Autofill is getting a massive boost with Gemini Intelligence, pulling details like your passport number, for instance, or even a rental car license plate from your connected applications so that you can fill out complex documents with just a single tap. It's strictly opt-in, which I think is a good thing, as you still have control over your privacy, and I think that's something a lot of us can appreciate. Do I think a lot of people will use this though? Well, I'm kind of on the fence, as I don't know if I want everything like that to be automated before I can get in and really check the intricate details. Then again, it is really, really cool to see in practice. Gemini is also being used to improve communication. It is getting a serious makeover through a Gboard function called Rambler. Let's be real, there's often a huge gap between how we speak and how we want our text messages to look or be formatted, even if we're using voice dictation. Well, Rambler is designed to bridge that gap as it offers polished dictation that can actually filter out your ums, ahs, and those mid-sentence pauses and corrections that we all make day to day. And I make plenty in these videos. So for instance, if you said, pick up milk, eggs, bananas, no, actually we don't need bananas, pick up bread instead. Well, Rambler is smart enough to give you a clean list of milk, egg, bread, and everything else that you might have added mid-correction or mid-flow. It even is able to handle multiple languages within a single message, which I think is a game changer for anyone who is able to blend languages in their daily chats. You can even ask it to change the tone, add emojis, which again I think is really cool and expands upon the exceptional dictation tools which are built into Gboard anyway. And speaking of personality, I think Android 17 is finally getting some much needed love for creators out there. For a long time, it's felt like Android was kind of playing second fiddle to iOS when it came to social media quality. That has changed in recent years, but that's changing once again here as Google has partnered with Meta to bring some hero integrations to Instagram on flagship Android phones out there. We're finally getting true Ultra HDR native video stabilization and night sight direct in Meta apps like Instagram and WhatsApp. They've used a universal video quality model as well to prove that video captured on Android flagships can now score as high and in sometimes better than the competition out there. Plus, Instagram is finally being optimized for tablets and foldables so you can actually use that extra screen real estate for something useful. And as someone who's using the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, that is a genuinely exceptional piece of news for me. There's also some really cool new creation tools like screen reactions, which lets you record yourself and your screen at the same time for those reaction clips without needing a green screen. I think short form creators on TikTok and YouTube will absolutely love this. And the Edits application is getting smart enhanced to upscale blurry photos, and there's a sound separation feature to isolate audio tracks, like basically block out wind and background noise. And for the pro level creators, Adobe Premiere is coming to Android this summer with exclusive YouTube Shorts templates. We're seeing a new storage efficient video format called APV, which actually debuted on the Galaxy S25, S26 Ultra, and that was co-developed by Samsung and Google. It's launching on devices like the S26 Ultra very, very soon. But the biggest, not quite a surprise, but also a surprise, has to be the Google Book. Google is essentially creating a whole new category of hardware here. It's that long-touted Android laptop designed from the ground up with Gemini Intelligence baked in, and Google are saying that it combines the Android tech stack with the best parts of Chrome OS. The standout feature is something called the Magic Pointer. Not a great name, but it is what it is. And this has been developed with Google DeepMind. It's basically a cursor that actually has some contextual intelligence built in. So for instance, you just wiggle it over a date in an email and it'll prompt you to set a meeting, for instance. You can even use it to select two different images, like a photo of your room and maybe something like a piece of furniture from a website, and Gemini will create a composite image so that you can see these together instantly in real time. It's almost like the cursor explains itself as it moves, highlighting things when you can interact with them, and I think that's a really nice touch for this feature. There's also an Appcast feature baked in here which works exactly like iPhone mirroring on Mac, but allows for probably greater control with direct file access to your phone. Might be useful if you're someone who doesn't want to pick up your phone but wants access to it. We're expecting to see the first wave of Google Book hardware from partners like Acer, Asus, Dell, HP, and Lenovo this fall, and we do have a full video on the Google Book, so go check that out down in the description below for full details. Even the car experience is getting a massive upgrade thanks to this Android Show overview. Google Maps is getting its biggest update in a decade with 3D view that actually shows buildings, terrain, things like overpasses, all those kind of obstructions you see in the real world. For cars with Google built in, aka Android Automotive, and I think I'll always call it Android Automotive, there's a new live lane guidance feature that uses the car's camera to tell you exactly which lane to be in on partner vehicles. And for those times when you're parked, you can now actually watch full 60 FPS HD video on your car screen for the first time ever with this format. If you start driving, it'll actually safely switch into an audio-only mode so you don't miss a beat on your favorite video podcasts with services like YouTube as well, which is another nice option here, and it means that you don't miss out on YouTube functionality when you're in the car. Gemini's also getting more context aware with Magic Queue in your vehicle, which I think can find addresses and information in your messages and offer one-tap replies to people while you're driving for ultimate safety when you're out and about. It can even identify dashboard warning lights or tell you if a new TV will fit in your boot or your trunk for my American friends out there. Another nice benefit, quality of life edition, that really does make a difference. We're not done yet either. As I told you, this Android show was absolutely huge and there's more to dive into. Browsing is getting agentic features on phones with Chrome starting in late June. There's the auto browse function, which will handle tedious stuff like booking parking or updating recurring orders on sites like Chewy. Never heard of this website before in my life, so you tell me what it is down in the comment sections below. You can even use Nano Banana to transform entire web pages into infographics quickly using natural language. And if you're stuck on a long article, the new browsing assistant icon in the toolbar can summarize the whole thing for you without ever having to leave a page. Another time saver if you want to take in detailed information in a pinch. With all of this new tech, Google is also introducing some new tools to help us manage our relationship with these tools. PausePoint is a new digital wellbeing feature, which is one of the first in probably about a decade here, and it lets you label certain apps as distracting. So if you try to open one of these applications, the system gives you a 10-second breather or exercises or alternative suggestions like audiobooks to do instead. It's basically designed to stop that mindless auto scroll or autopilot that you go into, and you go into a little bit of a doom scroll session, and you actually have to restart your phone if you want to disable it. So I think it's a pretty bold move to ensure you're being intentional with your phone usage, but it's something that, yeah, a lot of people will gain a lot of value from. They're also making it easier to share files and switch devices this time around. Quick Share's finally getting AirDrop compatibility with basically any supported hardware, and for everything else, it can generate QR codes to work through applications like WhatsApp. Switching to Android, as I say, has been overhauled here, allowing you to wirelessly migrate your passwords and even your home screen layout. This is launching first on Samsung and Pixel devices, but it does support eSIM transfer as well, which is another nice touch. And finally, in a last bit of personality touches, we're getting Noto 3D, which is basically a collection of 4,000 hand-refined emojis that look a bit richer and more vibrant than the flat icons we're used to. But then again, I do like the flat icons, so this might not be one of those design choices everyone's enamored by. I know that was a lot of information to take in, and most of these features is going to start rolling out in waves throughout 2026 and the latter half of this year. We will see creative upgrades and Gemini Intelligence hitting Samsung and Pixel devices this summer, with Google Books also arriving in the fall. So if you're wondering when that's coming, yeah, later this year. But as I say, it's a lot of information to take in. This is a very big release of updates prior to I/O, which we're probably going to learn about a lot more Android stuff there as well. But let me know what you think down in the comment sections below. Are you excited about all of this? Are you excited about the Google Book? Do you think AI automation is going a little bit too far and you're not someone who's willing to give up that level of control? Either way, let me know what you think down in the comment sections below. It's going to be a wild year for Android, and I don't anticipate it's going to slow down anytime soon. But cheers for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. And as always, I'll speak to you later.